Oh. Good evening.
Hello.
Welcome. My name's Barry.
And I'm Jay.
And together we are Mitosu Crafts.
Yes, welcome to our channel. We're independent Stampin' demonstrators based in the UK. So if you live in the UK, France, Germany, Austria, or the Netherlands, you'll be able to purchase current Stampin' products from our online shop. Do use the current host code, which can be found on our website at mitosocrafts.com to receive a handmade card from us the following month, or any extra gifts if your order qualifies. We put out a couple of live streams throughout the week, Wednesdays and Sundays. So if you'd love to see more card making papercraft inspiration using Stampin' products, do hit that like button and consider subscribing to our channel if you haven't done so. You can only comment on our videos on our live stream once you have subscribed. So we also give away the projects that we create during our live in the form of our random draw at the beginning or at the end. So do comment where you're from, what you're enjoying, and you'll be put into the draw. Before we do the draw for this lovely card that Barry created using Happy Holidays on Sunday, we'll say hello to those of you who have joined us.
Notice how he gets quicker and quicker. He tries to go quicker and quicker each week.
Hello Connie, Maureen, Janelle, Sandra or Mom, Anne, Mandy, Hermelinda, Janice, Mindy B, Marcy, Nani Shasha, love it, Sandra BL, Karen, Sylvia, Pat, the Bling Bling Crafter, Catherine, and Judy. Thank you so much for joining us. Yes, we'll do the random draw for this one.
Yes. Sue's just come in. Hi,
hello Sue.
So, yeah, so we're going to be playing with the whimsical trees again tonight. Well, it's kind of a mismatch. I'm using one stamp from the whimsical trees. I'm using some of the elements and the colour scheme. Yeah, it's a bit of a mismatch tonight. Actually, it's just a bit, but there's some techniques going on, so which is quite good. So yes, so we're going to be playing with that, but before we do that, we're going to give away, as Jay said, we're going to be giving away the card which I made on Sunday evening. So if you want to see how that was made, go back and have a little look. But if you popped a comment down below, then we're going to give it away right now. So let's go over to that.
Yes. Are you going to go? Yeah. Are you going to go? Right, let's just update. Ooh, one extra one. So good luck, everyone. Kathy D, congratulations.
Well done, Kathy.
Email us at barryandj@mitosocrafts.com and put in the subject line card winner and today's date, which is the 6th of October. If you'd love to win, if you'd love to receive the card that you've just won. So yes, congratulations again, and I will put down on there and take that off. There we go.
Congratulations, Kathy D.
There we go, Barry. Off you go.
Off we go. So get your scores in, get your guesses in. Oh, I think we've got a very hungry Suki tonight.
She's always hungry. Come on.
So yes, congratulations. That one there is working its way to you. I'm really happy with how that card came out. So I hope you like it as well. So yeah, so first card could be interesting. I'm going to be doing a little bit of a watercolor wash. It's not something I do that often, and it's something which can sometimes be a bit hit and miss. So we're going to have a play with that. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to be doing a bit of watercolor wash, and I'm going to be using the wonderful snowflakes, which are these. I'll get you out. I'll get you out a whole packet so you can see it. Which is a packet of these. You get lots in there, and you've got this iridescent snowflake. So these punch out, as you can see. You get 6 of them on a piece, and they punch out, leaving you with a lovely aperture. So you could go around, you could cut some of these out. You could probably do something that you could probably cut that out there, and you've got a really nice. You you've got a really nice topper for something, a really nice, you could really get something into that. So you've got, I would say you've got 2 toppers out of this instantly if you cut that one nicely. So that's what I'm going to be using on both cards actually. So that's that. Do you agree with me, Jay? There's 2 toppers in there.
2 toppers?
Yeah, if you snip and snip, you've got a nice topper there which you can pop a stab of sentiment in the...
You can have a frame, just follow like a detailed frame if you just cut in there, and you have a label.
Well, that's what I mean. Yeah, a label. Yeah. You just cut the whole thing out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So look at your pieces which you have as well, because
are you gonna do that?
You may see something in there. Go, oh, could use it.
And Mandy says to use it for die cuts, and I thought, oh, maybe you can do that tonight.
What am I die cutting tonight?
For your embellishments.
My embellishments.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're just trying to get me some points on the scoreboard now, aren't you?
Around your tree. Anyway.
Should that be in the actual set itself? So if I go to the die sets and I want something, are all of the dies going to be in the...
No, it won't, because you told me to have something just in case.
Right, I can't get those back in, so we will we'll deal with that afterwards, shall we? So yes, as I mentioned, I'm going to be using... You may as well leave one out because
that's fine, I'll do it.
There's one on its own, which is mixed in with it now. I'm going to be using some thick cardstock, and what I want to do is I want to cut this down to a particular size. So I'm going to cut this. I just need to get my measurements correct here. Just bear with. I want to make sure I get this down to the right size. So I'm going to be working in centimetres. So I'm going to cut this down to 9 by 13.1. I'm going to be using the aqua painters. This is more of a technique video tonight. So aqua painters and embossing folders, and yeah, so technique demo. So I have got my piece right here, and I have got myself some Misty Moonlight, and I have got myself my water painters, which is these ones right here. What's the scores again, Joe? I can't remember. Did I only score 1 on Sunday?
I think you will see it on Sunday.
I think it resets itself.
No, I don't think
yes,
so.
It does.
That's it.
Yeah.
Rude. This is the score.
Was that the score? Was it so far for this month? Because obviously we're entering a new month, so that is the score. Notice how Jay was very quick to pick that point up. Yes,
so this is the beginning of the month, so we still need Mandy.
Yes, we do. So I have got my Misty Moonlight, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to squidge my lid like that. So I put a pressure on that, and then that transfers some ink over into my lid. I would also need a bit of tissue, which I am ready, and I will need my brush. Okay, so I filled this up with some water, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to squeeze my water into my lid like this and mix up my solution like that. So these lids are a perfect kind of like little palette, what do you call them, little palettes for you. And then I'm just going to then pop this on here and do a wash. So say this is us onto regular thick cardstock, nothing watercolor, nothing there, just go down and job's done. Okay, so we need to just let that dry a little bit. So sometimes these can be a little bit hit and miss with how they come out. I'm just going to just see how that is. Now I do have one which I have prepared earlier on because this needs to dry, and as I dry it I'm just going to wipe away this excess now. So again, if you've got more you want to do, then you can then do that, but I'm just going to wipe away my excess so I don't actually contaminate my pad with water, and I can then just clean my brush like so, just by squeezing it out, squeezing clean water out onto a bit of paper, and that will then just there and clean it off. Pop my lid back on, and there we have it. So that's those. We can dry this with a heat tool, so I'm just going to get my heat tool, which I've got ready here, just to dry this off. But I do have one which I prepared earlier on, which is dry, and I've been able to flatten now. I only did that about half an hour before I went live tonight, so so it doesn't take long. Dry it with the heat tool, pop it in a book just to give it a bit of pressure, and it'll be okay. But I'm just going to dry this one and see how it comes out. So heat tool, and away we go. Okay, so you'll notice that the card has buckled. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to turn it over, and if I heat it from this side, it should hopefully flatten it down a little bit as well. There we have it. So we've got ourselves a little bit of a watercolor wash here. And this is just on the normal basic white fix, so I haven't used any of the watercolor card. As long as we don't flood it too much, it will be fine. So yeah, this the new basic fix which we've got works a lot better than the. I think you agree, Joe. Works a lot better with water than the old Whisper White fix, doesn't it? I think it works better, definitely. But have a play around with what you've got. But here's one I did earlier on, which was again just before I come on live, and I've just dried it and I've just popped it in a book just to give it a little bit of it. It's just flattened it out just a little bit more. So that is those two like so. What I'm going to do with this one is I'm going to matte and layer this. I think I'm going to either matte and layer this on a bit of white, on a bit of Misty Moonlight, because that's the colour of the ink which I've used for that as well. So just by using the watercolour wash, it's diluted it, so it's made it a much paler blue as well. I initially thought to myself, is it going to be too dark? But it actually come out okay. I'm either going to matte and layer that, I think, on, yeah, I am going to matte and layer that on a bit of Misty Moonlight. So by matte and layering it on here, I can then also use a little bit of glue to then flatten it down as well. So this is 9 centimeters wide, remember, and now I want to go to 9.3 centimeters. I only want a small border this time. So what did I say? I said 9, didn't I? Yeah. So 9.3. And then that was 13.1, which, so then I want to go to 13.4. So 3 millimeters is approximately 1/8 of an inch, Jay, isn't it?
Yeah.
So if you're wondering how big that is in inches, it's 1/8 of an inch bigger than your card base, or than your card itself. Or 3 millimeters is a nice size for a small edge, like so. So what I can do is I can then stick this to this one, and that will then help stick this down a little bit more. What you could do if you are worrying about the bending, you could always get this stuck down, and then you could then sandwich this between a book as well, and then leave it for a little while just so it then flattens a little bit more. There is always that issue when you are working with water and cardstock that it is going to buckle, but it does dry flat. So you do just need to give it a little bit of time. So what's everyone saying, Jay? I can see some comments coming through. Anything?
On top.
Jay's still doing all your names at the moment, so he hasn't caught up with all your comments yet. So.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Mandy put up a video of her new craft book
Ooh.
in the Crafty Stamper, so check it out.
Excellent.
I saw that earlier. But she's saying the only problem I have now is I have about 15 boxes of extra stuff that I have no idea what I'm going to do with.
So that's that. So you can see I'm just manipulating this cardstock now just to get that flat. So it is going there, it's getting there. It's not too bad. Then once I get that onto some dimensionals and then on the card, it will be fine. So I'm going to be using some thick cardstock for my base. So I'm going to go with a white cardstock for my card base, because then that way the Misty Moonlight has then just popped off of that quite nicely. Okay, so I'm going to cut my card base down to size, which was 14.6 or 5 3/4, and then score in half at 10.5 centimeters, which is 4 1/8 of an inch. Right, so that's my card base done, and then just fold and burnish, and that's that. And that one there is then going to go on top. So with the snowflakes, wherever they have gone.
It's, can you not reach?
Oh, they're there.
You got it.
So I'm going to take the one out which we had. Jay has kindly popped all of those away.
I thought you needed one.
So I'm going to pop this out. So one side is matte, one side is shiny. It's got the iridescent to it. So you can go either or on this. Whatever one works best for you. So just
and
carefully.
You can color the matte one.
Yeah, and because the matte side is going to take some ink, so you can then use your blends, and you could always colour these if you wanted to. So that's that. And then that is going to get popped over the top like so. So it's very, very subtle, but just by popping that watercolor wash underneath is just going to hopefully pop this out. So let's have a little look whilst we have got this here. Do you mind if I cut into this iridescent, Joe?
Yeah.
So what we're on about is with this one right here, if you snip it carefully there, and there, you've got yourself a little topper which you can do something with. Now I think that's too much for this particular card right here. It may look quite nice if you were to that's too much.
Yeah.
But I wasn't intending to.
Yeah, on its own.
But on its own, something like that would work quite nicely. So again, that's then utilising, and that you've now got yourself. If you cut this down into a nice square, you've got yourself like a nice square aperture, which you can then do something with as well. You know, you probably know I do like my square cards. So there's things which you can do with this. But obviously if you cut this one out, you're going to end up losing that point there, so you just need to just have a little look at your shapes and see whether or not you can see anything with it.
I think it'll look nice for a Halloween card as well.
It could look nice for a Halloween card. It looks a little bit spider-webby. Yeah. Spider-webby, Spider-Man sort of thing. So if you like your Halloween cards, then this could be something. Yeah, it does look very Halloweeny, kind of that sounds such weird, Halloweeny. Yeah, have a little look. So look at what you've got. I'm going to pop that to one side, but I'm not going to use that. But I wanted to show you what you could do. That's Jay's challenge for Sunday, to use that offcut. Can you get it into a card,
yeah,
Jay?
I've got something on it already.
Okay, Jay's got an idea for it already, so you may see that on Sunday. I'm going to pop this on a dimensional. like so. So just one dimensional will work perfectly in the middle of this snowflake. It's almost like they have designed the center of this snowflake to fit a dimensional perfectly. Alright, so that's in the middle. First things first though, let's glue this down to the card base. Oh no, actually no. Can I? Yes, I can, because then I can then pop the sentiment on it afterwards. So let's glue this. You can probably hear Jay in the background saying, "Oh, Suki, what you doing?" But now she's been fed, she's now really affectionate and just wants cuddles all the time. So we will then pop this on like so. And that's so good. They're very simple cards this evening compared to what I did on Sunday. They're two very different designs. Obviously lots of colouring on Sunday, whereas tonight quite simple layer cards. Okay, so that's that one there. Then what I'm going to do is I am then going to then just go ahead and stick this snowflake to the centre of this. So now do I go with that way round or do I go that way? Let's go that way. Stick that in the middle. So we've now got this nice centralised in the centre of the card, and then that blue wash is just popping it out. So this is a really simple Christmas card. You can sit down and do your watercolor washes, and then we're going to then pop a sentiment on it. Now I'm not going to use one of the sentiments from the set because I think they are a little bit too small for it. I don't think they work just as well. So I'm not actually going to use the sentiment for this particular one. Can that fit in there anyway? No, it doesn't. It looks odd. So I'm going to use a sentiment from the, again, Memorious Moments. I'm going to use the Season's Greetings on here, which I think is lovely. And I'm going to use that on both the cards tonight. For the same reason, I think the sentiments are a little bit too small for the front of the card for myself on the front here. So I'm going to use use another stamp set. So I'm going to say it's a bit of a mismatch of sets tonight, but sometimes it's a good thing because you get to use cross. What's the word I'm looking for? I don't know. Cross crafting. I don't know. No, cross crafting sounds like I've been angry at Jay, and I'm crafting angry.
Well, I'm always cross crafting when I'm.
Yeah, Jay's always. Did he just hear that? He's always cross crafting when he's crafting with me. I think I do wind him up, so I wouldn't put it past me. And then we will then put Season's Greetings, and then I'm going to kind of go in a little bit just on that watercolor wash in the centre, like so. And I've done this in Memento. Down we go, like so. And then like that. So you've got the shimmer and shine from that lovely snowflake, and then you've got the sentiment which then just pops from that as well. Now if we wanted to, we could, I suppose, do some embellishments. Let's have a little look and see whether or not we can get any embellishments. So I'm going to use one of the dies from the set, and we can use some of this iridescent, these snowflake paper, and let's see whether or not we can actually make something out of this. So I'm just going to do a little bit of snipping just to take this off. You're going to end up with loads of that stuff once you've done, if you've got these. And we don't like to get rid of it, do we? So I'm just going to then pop this in here, so with the iridescent side showing up. Let's see how well this die cuts. So you can see a lot of the stuff which we do for you is we tried and error as well. We just test it live for you on camera, so if you've not thought of it before or you don't know how it's going to work out, if we make a mistake, then hopefully that will then stop you. So that's cut out quite nicely, and I've got all my stars in here. So let's just take these off carefully. You can see Jay's been doing something with Gilding Flakes recently. I've got Gilding Flakes all over the plates.
I don't know what you mean. You'll see the video tomorrow.
Oh, the video for that will be out tomorrow. See, even I don't really know what he's made actually. Or is it that one which? Yeah, he's also used some blends of it as well, as I found out when I was die cutting, because he didn't clean the plates afterwards. So therefore, it then transferred a load of blend into my card.
Added texture and interest.
I did too. No, I just added dirt.
You need to clean your plates.
I did clean the plates after you dirtied my card. Can you sense there's a little bit of So I'm just using my take your pick tool, and I'm just going to then just have a little look to see whether or not we can then pop some of these stars around anywhere. So I kind of want them, I think they work quite well actually on the whites.
Everyone's loving this card. Clean and simple. Looks really nice, very effective. Yes. I think it's warm somewhere. I don't know. And I said, do you craft where you're cross? Hashtag cross crafting.
I think Jay crafts more when he's cross. Oh.
You're right.
Yeah, this snowflake, the star doesn't want to work for me. So I'm just having a little look.
Just dot your glue.
Yeah, I know, I've got to get my positioning first. What do you reckon? Are we happy with that positioning right there, do you reckon? So, oh, I know what I haven't used for an awful long time.
Ooh, what?
The zoom feature.
Does it actually work?
It does.
Oh,
So,
I did not realize it worked.
yeah, it does on this.
I forget.
So, what do you reckon? Are we happy with that positioning right there?
I can't see. I've got a delay on.
So that's that. There we go. We're moving in right now.
Oh no.
So I'm just going to let you catch up. I think I'm happy with that positioning, but I know that you had a, obviously, I'm not going to do a J and ask
3 at the bottom, 2 on top.
3 at the bottom, 2 on top. I'm not going to do a J and ask you something and then just go ahead and go and do my own thing. But Jay has just told me 3 at the bottom and then 2 at the top. So we're going to go like that now instead, I think. But are you happy with the positioning of that? And that's another way of you using up the, another way of you using that up as well. Good. All right, I think we've got some thumbs up and yeses on that one. So I'm just going to go ahead and do this now. So I'm just going to just pop my glue where I want it to be. Like that. Then use my to just drop those in place. Like so, and then I'll do the same with the top ones over here. Ooh. Let's just woke the cats up. there, and then one over here. So I'm using a tiny drop of glue, so you can probably see just a tiny bit of glue down there is all you need. Usually take your pick tool, then take that and then just drop that on top, and that's done. And that there is tonight's first card. So clean, simple, very, I don't know, it's a cold Christmas card, but rather than but I think it looks really nice. Obviously it works well with your snowflakes because they are cold anyway. And that iridescence, and you just see there, just you've got that shine and that glimmer from just a bit of paper, which you haven't really had to do any work with. That there is just done. So do you like? Lovely. So good. So I'm going to get myself ready for the second card quickly. So Jay can tell me if there is any, or if you've got any questions. Now's a good time to pop them in. And we'll
catching up with the names. There's so many. Thank you for joining us.
Good. Yes. So I've got one there that can then dry, and then I can then do you can do another card. So it's probably a nice thing to do. Like I said, just do a watercolor washes. See, there's one I did previously, and I used one of the sentiments, let your heart be light. But one I didn't think that sentiment worked well with this particular card, so I scrapped it. And that's another wash. Some more washes there. That was done. This was a wash which I did on some shimmery white cardstock as well, so that's got a little bit of glitter, glimmer, and shimmer into it as well. So there are other things you can do. But just sit there and you can then make yourself up some washes and then let them dry, come back, stick your snowflakes on, and job's done. You've got some really simple Christmas cards.
You didn't actually use any whimsical trees from that?
No, I didn't. I know, I actually haven't used, but the snowflakes are from the, are they?
Whimsy and Wonder Suite.
They are from the Whimsy and Wonder Suite, so that's my get out clause on that one, even though I haven't used the whimsical trees stamp set on this particular one. The snowflakes are from the Whimsy and Wonder Suite. So yeah, that's my clause. What am I doing? I don't know what I'm doing. I just need to tidy up a little bit because I can't find anything. So second card is again very similar. Well, it's not similar. I am going to be using the stamp set this time, a little bit, and the dies again as well. So we will need. I can use some thick whilst I've got that, and that one as well. So what I'm going to do, pop that to one side, let those snowflakes continue to dry. So what I'm going to do on this one here is I'm going to take my card base, which Tommy has kindly laid on. So I'm going to go and cut them. I can't even cut it because he's laying on the trimmer as well. Come on, Tommy. Oh, there we go. I have actually got my card base. I've just wrestled it from Tommy. So I'm going to cut my card base down to size again here. So 14.6 by 21, score in half at 10.5 is your card base. I think this could be quite a quick video this evening. I'm going to have to waffle for half an hour, a little bit more, just to keep you entertained.
We can just stop. I can do a third card if you want.
Oh. I'm going to hurry up then.
Oh.
So 8 by 12.1. So what I need to do now is I've got myself a bit of mint macaron, and I'm going to have this down to 8 centimeters by, oh, just need to have a little look again. Let's say 12.1. 8 by 12.1 is what I'm going to do on that one, which is good. And then I'm going to take myself this bit of basic white, I'm using thick. You can use thin. It doesn't look regular. It doesn't matter really. So I'm going to take that. That was 8. So this is going to be 7.5, and that was 12.1, which would be, yeah, that works. So 7.5 by 11.6. That then is going to give me a bigger border. So on this particular one, I've now done 0.5 millimeter bigger, so you can see I've got a much bigger border than what I did. Well, I say a much bigger border, but I've got a fatter border than what I did the first time. So just work methodically when you're doing it. Sometimes you only want a thin border, sometimes you want to show off. And I tend to, I think you may have noticed that me and Jay tend to show quite a lot of the white card or the coloured cardstock behind it. I don't quite see the point of using a nice coloured bit of cardstock sometimes and then going and sticking a whole white piece over the top of it and pretty much covering it up. So you may have noticed that a lot of our cards, me and Jay do actually leave quite a big white border around it. It's just so at least then we've got it frames, to me, it frames your subject piece. It's just something I don't quite like it when you cover up that entire piece. I used to, because that was what everybody did. But it's just how I like it now. You can see with our card which we did the other day, I haven't gone directly. I've made sure I do have a bigger border, a slightly bigger border, so at least you can see the cardstock. I haven't gone right edge to edge. I just don't see the point in it. I want to see that lovely coloured cardstock underneath. That's just my thinking anyway. I paid for it, I want to show it off. So card base, I've got that one right there, and then I've got this one right here like this. What I'm going to do is, once again, I am going to be using one of these snowflakes. So I'm going to grab one of these snowflakes out. So the ones Jay kindly popped away for me. If I take it out very gently, I don't have to take the whole thing out. I can pop one of these out again. So that's that one. That one there. And that's going to go over the top like that. And then with my offcut, which I've got here, I won't do that one. I will do that on a nice offcut, a smaller offcut, because that will be a perfect layer again for another card. So I'll grab myself some proper offcuts, and I'm going to do some stamping. So the stamp I am going to use for this one is going to be this tree right here. And I'm going to stamp this in some mint macaron again. Now you said you used a blend, did you, Jay, just to dot the insides on this? Mm-hmm. Is that what you said? Because inside this tree is some dots. And you used polished pink, did you?
Yes.
So what I've got myself here is I've got myself some of the polished pink blends, and then I'm using the bullet point. Can you see inside you've got like these little dots in there as well, so which works. So I think that's quite good, that you can then just go around and then you can then use those dots just to kind of pop some lights on it. You may want to then just come out a little bit and then add some of your additional ones so it comes out onto the outside branches just a little bit more. But I think that adds a nice little touch to this one. So it's just, can you see what I mean there? So it just adds a little bit to it. We will see. Let's just see if I can get dark into it as well, and just see if that's just adds a little bit of different lighting to it. So there you go. So that's what you can do. If it's a little bit too much, I'll just go over the top of it again. That does hopefully Maybe just mute it a little bit. So that's that one. Alright, so once we've gone ahead and we've gone and done that, I can then go ahead and I can die cut these out. I've got Jay peering over my shoulder.
No, I'm tethering on my phone, but the thumbs up isn't updating.
You need to refresh the page. Yeah, if that happens. Sorry?
This one.
So I'm going to use...
Thank you for liking. Thumbs up.
Yeah, if you just refresh it, it'll be alright. That's what I do. And then you can then use this die here, and then you can then go ahead and then you can then just die cut this out. So let's just pop these to one side for one moment. I'm going to bring the mini in again because this works perfectly with the mini. I just need to snip this down a little bit so it fits in just a little bit better. But that's fine, do that one. In we go like that. And then die cut that out. I'm not normally that random, Heather. if that's what you're talking about. Random dots. No, I agree. I know what you mean. If you're talking about with random, you can't. It looks too. Yeah, if I was to do that over a whole piece of card, I think it would look too uniform. But because I've got the shape of this tree, it was actually relatively easy to do it, and because there was some dots for me to follow as well, it made it a little bit easier. All right, so that's that one right there. So with the, I'll do the sentiment last. Oh no, I'll do the sentiment. I'll get the sentiment bit ready now at least. I'm going to be using the same sentiments as Season's Greetings. So what I want is, I've got a bit of an offcut here as well. This is 3/4 of an inch. I just need to, I took this down to 5/8 of an inch. So I want a piece here which is 5/8 of an inch big. So it was 3/4 of an inch. So I've just taken it half an inch, 1/8 down, because half an inch was just a little bit too big, and I want that to then be 6.5 centimeters. So sorry, I'm working now. I've gone into, which will be about 2.5 inches. 6.5 centimeters, just over 2.5. And then I've got my bit for my sentiment. So I've kind of got all my elements here now. And then the sentiment can go on there. So let's go ahead and stamp my sentiment, because we can show you where you can take it to, and then we can then take it to another level as well. So I've got that. I'm going to be doing Season's Greetings again, but I'm going to be doing this now in the Misty Moonlight ink. I'm going to just bring this down, and I'm just going to then position this centrally, and then I'm just going to then stamp this. Like so. Just hold it down for a second or two, then carefully then pick that up, and that's your sentiment which you've got. So done. So with this card here, that there is basically going to go on top like this. This snowflake is then going to act as a bit behind. My tree is going to go on like that, and then my sentiment is then going to go down here. Now if you want to leave it like this and do this style of card, you can do very clean, simple, and then you don't necessarily need to do the sentiment on a layer here. You can then stamp the sentiment down straight onto the card if you want to, and keep it very single layer. and we would just pop these up onto dimensionals. But if you want to take it to another level, let's pop that stuff to one side for a moment. Let's just pop my die back before I lose it. What we can do now is we can do some embossing. So I've actually got the embossing folder here. So this is the Timber 3D embossing folder. So you can go ahead and you can then you can do this one. Actually, I've got 2 pieces of paper. Is that the correct size for that one? It is. I will do one of each so we can then show you what I'm going to do. So just remember what sizes I did for this was 7.5, wasn't it? See, I knew there was a reason why I didn't use that piece. 7.5 by 11.6. Right, so I've got 2 pieces which now measure the same size. Okay, then what I'm going to do with the embossing, so we can do one which is going to we will keep plain. So I'm just going to run this through the machine. Now, because this is a 3D embossing folder and it's a large embossing folder, I do need my big machine right here. So I've got my big Suki right here. And I need the correct plates. So I do need it. No, I'm prepared. I have got my plates. I'm ready. So I'm going to be using this one and plate number 1 and plate number 4 for this. We will run this through and emboss this. Oh, what was that? And I will put the tree on the side of the snowflake. Interesting. We'll have a little look at that in a moment. So that there is the first one. Let's just put this to one side. And that there is number 1. So we can keep it like that. Again, now because I've embossed it, that's where your sentiment layer comes in handy. If you can stamp and then emboss if you want to, and that can go over the top like so. So that there again is a very plain card which has then got the embossing on the back. Or what we then now do is we now grab our embossing folder once again. I then take myself some ink, so I've got myself some soft suede, and I'm going to bring myself in a blending brush. So the side which I want to imprint on, this is the side I want to do it. So this will be the debossed side, and this is going to be the embossed side. So I want to pop my ink on this side here. So I'm just going to, some people do this and do that and then transfer the ink over. But another way you can do it is pick up your ink from your blending brush and blend your embossing folder. Then that way you will also get a nice, you'll distribute the ink quite nicely over your embossing folder, and you won't get, you'll probably get a much smoother distribution of ink on your folder. So just go through, blend it around. You can see, because if I did it that way, that's kind of what I'm getting. So you could probably start off with that, but then use a brush just to blend this out. So now it's quite dark, so I'm just going to work this in a little bit more, just to maybe just soften that down just a fraction. And then you can once you've done with this, you can then do this a few times if you want to, and then you can then just pop it in the sink, just run it under some running water, and you can then, it's clean. And that's what I did before coming on the video. I then just dried it with a towel and done. So let's pop this in this way. So I'm just going to have a little look. Yeah, I want to go that. I want to go this way this time. So I'm going to pop that in like that. And I'm going to just kind of position this over and see where it is. So just make sure I've got it where I want it to be. And then I can then sandwich that down. I'm just going to hold that gently, hold that in place whilst I bring my machine back in. So I've kept it in place right here. You could also use this like a little bit of a stamping side of things as well, that you can then run this through and push it, and then you can probably stamp. It will then you act as a stamp. I'll try that on a little bit of scrap as well before I finish, just to show you what I mean. But what I want to do now is I want to now just run this through the embossing folder, run this through the machine again, and emboss that piece. And what that's going to do is that is going to then just transfer that ink from that folder onto that bit of paper. And that there is then just transferred, so you've then got the white debossed parts or embossed, so we've then actually pushed the ink into it. So you'll get a different effect whatever way round, whatever side you do it. So have a play. If you've not, I think they call it, it's called a letterpress technique, isn't it, Jay?
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is a letterpress technique. So have a little look at that one there, but it's a great way of doing this. But what you can do, and say if we, if I just grab my, just blend that out a little bit again, because there's still ink on that, so I can do some more. But if you want to, if you just stick a bit of your scrap paper in and then just put a bit of pressure over the top of this, so you're not actually embossing it, but a bit of pressure, you're going to then you transfer some of that ink over, and you get yourself a very, very faint image. Obviously, the stronger you do, that has obviously been used, and I haven't put any extra ink on that. But can you see what that is? That then is another way. So you can then use your embossing folders as a stamp as well. So have a little play around with that one. It depends on the type of technique you want. If I wanted it to be more subtle, that's a good way of doing it. But you can see the ink is quite strong on that one. So there's a couple of techniques with your embossing folders there. And I reckon you could probably still go ahead again on this one and do it again. Let's just see what I can get out again on another cut. See, here's me going, oh, you're going to have to take over, Jay, and now I've just been waffling, haven't I?
I was going to say, it's nearly the thing.
It is, I've just looked at the time. So what did I say? 7.5 by 11.6. Let's just see what I can get out from one more impression without inking it up. And it might be that the second generation one is better. But we'll have a play. So that's that. Same thing again, grab that folder. So I haven't added any additional ink into this. I've just left it, I've got it in there as it is. I'm just going to then sandwich that down once again. Run it through my machine. And man is going to spritz water on the embossing folder. Yeah, that's another one which you can do as well. Spritz it.
Oh wow, thank you so much, Betty.
Thank you, Betty. Oh wow, thank you. And there we go. Actually, I do think I prefer that one there, because it's subtler. It was because this was a little bit too strong because I went to the ink pad, but that one there is a little bit lighter, so I think I am actually probably going to use my second one. It's just a tad bit lighter, and that's that. So you can see you can get yourself some different generations of inking with your embossing folders. So have a play. It's only a bit of card, it's a bit of paper. So we have got these right here, so it's just a matter of constructing now. So you can see we had the one which was plain, or we had the one now which has now got the embossing on it. Thank you, Mandy.
Thanks so much, Mandy.
And then I'm going to then do this. We will then just glue the back of this one here. Remember, if you want to win these cards, then do pop a comment in. So if you're popping a comment in with us on the live chat, you are in the draw for the first card I made, which was that one right there. If you want to win this card, or be in a chance to win this card, then come back afterwards and pop a comment down below. So if you're watching this after the live, just pop a comment down there. If you're watching this now and you want to, just use the same link if you want to come back into this video, and then pop another comment down below. Alright, and then I will glue this to the back. You can see obviously it's taken me an hour to do these two cards, but they're not that complicated, they're not that difficult. So there's a lot of repetition on these. It's like the ones, right, do all your watercolor washes for your first card and then let them dry whilst you're then maybe die cutting out your embellishments if you want to, or popping your dimensional on the back of all your snowflakes. Let those dry for a little bit, pop them under a book. This one here, just get your embossing done. They're very easy repetitive cards. If you want to do some bulk cards, these are this is a style for you. I'm gonna once again pop a dimensional on the back of this snowflake right here. So again, it has been designed perfectly to fit one of these large dimensionals. And I'm going to pop some dimensionals on my sentiments here. Like that. And then we will then stick this down in the center. So again, because we've got that on a pattern, it kind of, the snowflake pops from that wood as well. And I still think the wood worked quite nicely with it, because it was just from obviously snowflake, outdoors, wood, nature, Christmas trees, wood. I think the
How many times can you say wood?
How many times can you say wood? I think the theme worked, so that's what I'm going with. That can go down the bottom, down there underneath our snowflake. So we just position that in the center, down there like so. And then just to finish off, we'll pop a bit of glue on the center of this. Probably should have done this a little bit earlier on, but if you're doing this one, remember you're going onto a shiny surface, so it's going to take a little bit longer to dry. But I'm going to go, I know that Anne mentioned maybe to the side, but on this particular one I think it works better, everything looking in the middle myself. So I'm just going to pop that tree on there, because you've got a little bit of the iridescent on here. It's got a little bit of pinks inside the snowflake, which then works well with the colouring of the lights on the tree. Green tree for the matte and layer. I just used Misty Moonlight because I didn't want to use black on that one, but you probably could have used another one. And that's that one. Very subtle. The snowflake just acts as just a very subtle accent behind. Yeah.
To it, there's a difference.
Yeah, but because the shine is there, you do see it. So if that's once that's sat on someone's side, that's going to catch the lights. It's going to catch the twinkle of the lights from your Christmas trees or whatever you've got around your house, or it's just going to come to life. So there we have it.
Twinkle, twinkle.
It's going to twinkle, as Jace just said. It's going to twinkle, twinkle. So there we go. What do you think? Do you like? Have you enjoyed? Are you going to have a go? I'm actually quite happy with how that came out. I was panicking a little bit. I was going to, because watercolor washes to me, and I say this to you, sometimes you've got to see something through to the very end, because when you're doing it, it looks a complete and utter mess. Once it's all come together at the end, it then works, and that works. But I'm looking at it going to say, it looks horrible. It's the worst watercolor wash I've done, but it actually looks okay. So do see things through to the very end. Once you've got all of your accents on it, the mess in the middle doesn't look as bad. It actually looks okay. So good. Well done. Well done. I'm saying well done to myself. Well done. Give myself a pat on the back. Yeah.
Mandy was like, no bow tying tonight.
No bow tying tonight. No, we've got no bow tying tonight at all. So good. So I hope you enjoyed. We're going to then do a live draw, but Jay is going to come over and hopefully show you something if he's got anything. If not, we'll just go straight into the draw.
Don't have anything.
Do we not have anything to show tonight?
I haven't been crafting.
Are they all secret crafting at the moment because we're there ready for a blog hop?
Yeah, because I normally make like a couple of cards for a blog hop, but I've only made one, so I can't show it to you.
Because it's not live until tomorrow.
But
So
check the channel tomorrow.
Yeah.
There's a video at 10 a.m.
10 a.m. tomorrow morning, is there?
Yes.
Okay, good. So lovely.
Using these.
Using the snowflakes again.
Yeah.
Okay, so we seem to be going on a very snowflake theme at the moment.
I think because we got it and we just want to use it now.
Yes. So let's go back to
I
our
think
lovely
I have-
faces.
Oh, one more name.
I can add it here.
Oh, can you?
Yes, I can.
I'm back.
What name needs to go in?
Tanya. Hi Tanya.
Tanya.
Hi Joanna. And I think that is it.
Just Tanya, yeah?
Just
Last
Tanya,
name in?
yeah. Last name. So
Lovely,
that is
Tanya.
going, and we'll do the random draw for.
Jason's going to have
Smart.
to talk for a moment whilst I get it set up.
Oh, okay. So didn't Barry do well? Amazing! Don't forget to hit that like button, thumbs up button, and thank you so much for everyone already doing so and reminding others to do so as well. It just helps us know that the video is a success, as well as YouTube pushing it to other
Yes.
people. So do
Beat the
share.
algorithm.
Yes, do share the videos as well if you can on social media or your friends and family. That will be amazing. Thank you so much, and thank you, Betty and Mandy, for your super chats, super stickers.
Yes, thank
Thank
you very
you.
much. So good, so we are all ready. Let's go over to the live draw.
Yeah.
So, yes.
Good luck, everyone.
Claire
Claire
Steele.
Steele, congratulations.
That was a quick one tonight. It normally goes on for a little while. So Claire, please
Yeah.
message us, Barry and Jay at mitosucrafts.com. Pop today's date in this, 6th of October, and go YouTube winner in the subject line, so it's easy for me to identify. But that card there, first one, if you'd like it, is going to work its way over to you.
I love it when you do that to you. It's like a TV presenter.
Well, I am. We are TV presenters.
Right, anyway, yes, we hope you enjoyed tonight's live demonstration. Don't forget to come back and watch the replay and comment again, so you'll be put into the draw on Sunday for this card.
Yes, lovely. Thank you all for watching. We'll see you on Sunday night. Well, Fun Fold Friday, if I get it recorded. We'll see. I say that every week, don't I? Friday,
have you
maybe.
got one yet?
I haven't even got anything in mind.
Okay.
So if anyone's got any ideas, then please let us know. Quickly.
Don't you have a list?
I need to check it twice.
Yes.
Boom, boom. Okay, see you Friday and Sunday. See you later.
Thank you.
Bye.
Take care. Bye.